Another fun day. Hey, Jim, now that you've gotten to see the Big Bubba Rogers action figures that we talked about on the last show, what do you think?
I love him, especially of course, the white shirt. That's how I knew it. But also the fact that he has the more, one of the heads with the more Bubba flousy hair, and instead of the more tightly cropped Big Boss Man hair. I like that ability to choose.
And again, we talked about it when we did the last retro figure segment. What do you think of the blue shirt?
It's bizarre because it kind of looks like, I mean, it's got to be a nod to the Boss Man outfit, because now I remember Bubba, I said he always wore white. He wore black shirts sometimes.
In the early days, you mean?
Yeah, but not blue. So there you go. But as a matter of fact, he was buying all these suits at the big and tall man's shop, obviously, because he was 6'4" and 350 or whatever the fuck. But he ended up having to have, because when he was wrestling in those street clothes, God damn, at the end of a match with Ronnie Garvin, it was hard for him to keep his heat visually with the people because he looked like he'd goddamn been run over by charging bulls. His shirt was all untucked and the sweat stains out of the armpits and the fucking legs of the pants were hiked up. So to keep more together and not look so unkempt, he started taking the dress shirts and having a lady sew buttons and a tail on them where he could bring it through his crotch underneath his pants and button it so his shirt tail wouldn't come out. Like,
really?
Like a regular wrestling top, but with the dress shirt. That helped him stay together better.
Did Bubba Rogers and Big Boss Man collectively pull off wrestling in actual clothes better than almost anyone? Like, it didn't seem ridiculous with him.
No, I think so, because, well, the way he started, Boss Man still was a kind of a policeman's uniform, but Bubba was just, the inspiration was any goddamn, 60s TV show gangster in the suit and the tie and the carnation and the sunglasses, but they're going to fucking whack you with the machine gun they carry in their violin case. That's why we used the Peter Gunn theme for Bubba's entrance music. Because Dusty, just Kay said he's Big Bubba Rogers, baby. He's your bodyguard from Louisville, Kentucky. So we's okay, and put him in a suit, and that's the guidance we got. So then we said, okay, well, what music would fit it? Peter Gunn. And and a lot of people didn't even know at that point what it was, but it sounded right? And we just made it, like a fucking gangster movie. And with him wrestling in his suit, it made him stand apart because guys weren't doing that in those days. And he didn't look like a wrestler. He looked like this big, tough guy that no wrestling fan had ever heard of because he wasn't a wrestler. But he was my bodyguard, and suddenly I'm throwing him into the ring. And because his style was so different, and the way that he did things in the ring and the way he moved in the ring was so different, he didn't look like a wrestler, but not in a bad way. He didn't look like a wrestler in terms of the match he was having. He looked like a big 6 foot, 350-pound guy fighting somebody who was trying to wrestle him. And since he'd only had 12 matches and very little training before he got the gimmick, he was doing that. He was figuring it out on his own. And sometimes he'd just start taking bumps or doing moves that weren't technically, classically correct in wrestling, but it worked for him because he was so quick and so agile. And it was just a whole different way of doing things. So that's why I think he stood apart from all the other guys they tried to push when they were green. Bubba became a bigger star quicker than almost anybody. He was like an American Nikita Koloff.
And again, after a match or in a match, whichever character he was, Big Boss Man or Big Bubba Rogers, let's leave the Guardian Angel out of this.
Yeah.
His shirt would get sweaty. It would get opened up more. You'd see his chest like it was a guy in a fight, like you said.
Yeah.
And he pulled it off. A lot of people, you see a lot of people wearing clothes in the ring nowadays. They don't pull it off. He made it work.
Also, Bubba was a free perspirer. Oh my God. And we'd go to spot shows in the summertime in the Carolinas. It'd be 100 degrees outside, high humidity. And it'd be we're both wearing suits. And it'd be a contest between two of us as which one of us looked like you'd turned a bucket of water over our head by the time we got back to the locker room.
How did he do his laundry?
Well, he took it home and fucking did it.
He took it home? I mean, when you guys were on the road. I mean, how many suits did he have?
Well, no, think about this. In the Carolinas, we were driving to a lot of the shows, and if we did go, fly for the weekend, I mean, I was wearing a different shirt every night. I'd reuse pants a couple times on a 5 or 6 day trip and try to get 2 or 3 wearings out of a jacket. Since he was taking the jacket off, that was the problematic part. He was taking that off to wrestle. You just throw several things in a suit bag. When you get home, pop them over by the dry cleaners. That's what I always do. I assume that's what he did. I didn't follow him. He might have had Angie do it, his wife, take it to the dry cleaners. Nobody's ever asked that question before.
Well, thank you very much. And speaking
of... It wasn't a compliment. It was just a statement.
I'll take it as a compliment. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very little. You're welcome even less.